As we want to get to politics right now, Congressman Kevin Brady, the chair of the Tax Rating Committee, was on the show earlier this morning. Listen to what he had to say about state and local tax deductions. Roll tape.
Mayors and governors have really put the screws to taxpayers in some of these high tax states. We want to make sure we lower those taxes and you keep more of what you earn regardless of where you live.
We're joined now by Congressman Thomas Garrett, Republican from Virginia, member of the House Freedom Caucus. Sir, your reaction to those comments by Congressman Brady?
Well, look, I mean, obviously policies have an impact on people. And so I think it's interesting that for years, most people didn't realize the federal government, via the deduction structure, was subsidizing high tax states' confiscatory policies towards their citizens. So that genie's out of the bottle. Hopefully it manifests itself in some different election results in some of these states that have elected leaders that are all too eager to reach in their pockets.
I guess, though, as someone from one of these states, New Jersey, and I work in New York, I think still these states are net still send more money to D.C. than they return. And I think the problem that some people like your colleague, Representative Peter King, for instance, are having is if you take it from the New York taxpayer who's already sending more money to D.C. and you redistribute it to a taxpayer in a so-called red state, is that right? Is that smart? And does that ultimately backfire?
Well, we got a system sort of, well, I wish we did, that's based on a federalist structure where there are governments at the local, state, and federal level, and each have latitude to make policies that they deem best. But while you're correct that these high tax states tend to be net donors as it relates to revenue, they're also net donors as it relates to population. If you look at business startups, if you look at particularly manufacturing growth, et cetera, all these areas are moving, water flows downhill. They're moving to states with a less confiscatory tax set of policies. And that's because obviously we need to create products at as low a cost as we can so that we can make a profit to continue to grow the economy and create jobs.
Right.
So, yeah, what the economy of yesterday will not be the same as the economy of tomorrow.
We know that, and it's historically been proven. You're a member of the Freedom Caucus. Whatever happened to the argument of less spending? How come that never comes into the equation anymore?
Oh, it does. The problem is, I think, that we see them sweeten bad bills with good tidbits and then dare people to vote against whatever the good tidbit is. So I think it comes down to messaging. I say all the time, Charles, and I think I said it last time we spoke on Neil's show, the road to hell is paved with omnibus legislation as it relates to tax reform. There are certain things that we should be able to do on a bipartisan basis,
right,
at least if people will put their money where their mouth is. I was in middle school last time we reformed the tax code. Don Johnson was going sockless, and Miami Vice was the #1 show on television. Even President Obama recognized that we had a corporate tax structure that was backwards as it relates to the rest of the industrial world. So
let's see what happens, sir. Thank you very much. Always appreciate having you on.
Charles, it's a pleasure. Look forward to talking to you again soon, sir.
All right, good.